Vice presidential candidates J.D. Vance and Tim Walz returned to the campaign trail today after their first and only scheduled debate before Election Day. And yes, you saw it right here on CBS News 24/7. The candidates struck primarily to the issues in a debate described by surveyed voters as, get this, positive.
Positive? What? Walz and Vance presented some different ideas about how to best lead the country last night. But you're right, it was positive, Errol.
Yeah, it wasn't really just about the substance of what they said, but the tone. The two struck a mostly cordial one as they split on issues ranging from everything, the economy, abortion, but you had moments of confrontation as well, especially when it came to the results of the previous election.
Did he lose the 2020 election?
Tim, I'm focused on the future.
That is a damning non-answer.
Joining us now here in Studio 57 is CBS News political contributor and chief communications officer at Move On, Joel Payne. Maura Gillespie is also here. She is the founder of communications firm Blue Stack Strategies. She's also worked as an advisor to House Speaker John Boehner and Congressman Adam Kinzinger. Maura, I'm going to start with you because as much as people are surprised by the tone, it's perhaps Senator J.D. Vance's tone that was most surprising to folks because he's been described as pugnacious before, and he had more work to do on his public approval ratings, frankly, going into this debate. And people were really surprised by how genteel and gentlemanly he sounded in having this conversation. How much might this actually help him and help his campaign?
I think it's going to help a lot as far as the long-term strategy for J.D. Vance here, because if he was going to play to an audience of one, being the former president Donald Trump, we would have heard a different version of J.D. Vance. So when we've kind of been hearing more of the gaffes of, the childless cat lady comments, those things would have played to the audience of Donald Trump and maybe the MAGA base. I think what he did last night was use his opportunity to introduce himself and who he wants to be moving forward, perhaps, to a wider audience, because he knew his likability, especially against Governor Tim Walz, was down, right? People were viewing him as smug in a lot of ways. But he came out, I think, humbled and tried to be more appealing to a broader audience. And the way he spoke about with personal references to his children, but also to women, he knows that's an area, a demographic that he is down on in numbers. And so I think he really tried to play to that base. And I think long term, again, Trump, should he win, would only be president for 4 more years. He can't run again after that. And so J.D. Vance sees this as an opportunity. Well, he would then become the next de facto leader of the GOP. And I think he took the opportunity last night.
Well, Joel, I want to get your take on that audience of one idea, because maybe the biggest litmus test was this January 6th question. Yeah. And Governor Walz said that wasn't really an answer. But what did you make of that exchange? Did you think that Walz should have pushed harder on that?
Yeah, I mean, that Walz-Vance exchange at the very end was the moment of the debate. Just if you look at the prognosticators and you also look at the after effect of the debate, that's the moment that I think is going to have the most legs. I agree with I think where Maura is going in terms of how J.D. Vance attempted to present himself. He certainly did. He was mainstream in temperament and tone. He is not mainstream in what he believes and what he thinks. And he was also very duplicitous and dishonest about a number of things, including his claim that he does not support a national abortion ban, which Democrats have him dead to rights saying he does. And you can bet that that is going to be paired up with the sound of him incorrectly saying that he doesn't support a national abortion ban last night. So I look, for the purposes of last night, yes, he certainly presented a different face and a different voice than maybe what people assumed about J.D. Vance before. But 90 minutes can't change who J.D. Vance is and who he's been for his entire political career.
The other big topic they both discussed was abortion. And from J.D. Vance, we heard him say that he was more sympathetic toward the topic and saying that Republicans need to earn the American people's trust back. Maura, what did you make of his commentary on that topic, considering, women in swing states are a crucial demographic that very well could decide the election?
Absolutely. And I think, I've said for a long time, my being conservative is because I believe in a smaller, more accountable government. And when it comes to the topic of abortion and women's health, two things can be true at once. You can believe in the sanctity of life, but you can also believe in women's right to have medical freedom over their bodies. And I think what J.D. Vance was getting at, and I do agree with you, they're going to play that sound clip of him saying, that he would absolutely approve, an all-out abortion ban. What he was trying to do last night was say, I had personal experience. I have a friend who had an abortion, and he was trying to be more relatable and recognize the nuances of this topic, and especially in Republican circles. But I do think, it comes down to trust, too. Can we trust that he's going to stand by what he said last night versus what he said in the past? Can we trust that he would actually have a say in this topic? Should he be, should they win? Or will Donald Trump have the overall say? So I think it comes down to trust. And I don't know if the voters last night saw that they could trust what he said last night.
And Joel, look, our polling shows viewers found that it was a split debate. 50-50 split, and you're saying the answer or the non-answer to January 6th is the soundbite. Are you surprised that Walz didn't do better in the eyes of voters, considering the choice was pretty clear?
Well, if you listen to every Walz surrogate before the debate, they told you he's a bad debater, and I will say they did not mislead us. Tim Walz is not the most skilled debater, but let me tell you what he does have. He has a common sense appeal that I do think works. I don't know if it conveys in a debate format, but I think it does convey kind of a trust and a genuine nature that does come across through media appearances, through rallies, and through a debate performance where he was uneven, but it was honest. It was true to who he is, and I think that works for him. J.D. Vance did some work to help himself last night, but I don't think Tim Walz hurt himself, and I think that's the story of the night.
We could all welcome a return to civility, though.
I like it. All right, Joel Payne, Maura Gillespie, thank you both.
Thank you both.